We on this channel like thinking about some of the stranger theories of the universe. They make us utilize parts of our brain that we do not use in our day-to-day lives. So that being said, in today's video we will be delving into 5 bizarre and interesting theories of the universe. Number 1. Boltzmann brains. The argument for Boltzmann brains is that it is more likely for a single brain to spontaneously come into existence in a void rather than the universe coming into existence through random fluctuation. This Boltzmann brain would be packed full with memories of living within our universe. We could exist purely because of a brain that is slowly decaying in a dead universe. This said brain has come with all of these false memories to keep the brain stimulated. The proposition behind this is that even without a multiverse or an infinite universe, it is statistically likely for a Boltzmann brain to exist. It is believed it would take longer than the current age of the universe for a Boltzmann brain to form, and yet the brain thinks it exists in a younger universe. This shows us that if this is possible, the memories and reasoning process would be untrustworthy if it were indeed a Boltzmann brain. Boltzmann brains are thought to actually be finite, and that eventually the brain will cease to exist. This could be a very long time from now, but we must take into account what the brain's perception of time and reality may be. If the brain is within itself using internal stimulation, maybe its time perception is vastly different to the speed at which time passes in reality. Kind of like dreaming or meditations. When we enter these states, we feel as if we've been in them for a lifetime, but in fact sometimes only 5 to 10 to 15 minutes have passed. The concept of a Boltzmann brain is a very creepy one. The thought that our reality is only a figment of imagination is very scary. Who knows? Perhaps it could be true. Number 2. Quantum immortality. Quantum immortality is a thought experiment within quantum mechanics and philosophical physics that proposes that when one dies, their consciousness may merge with another reality, in which the person survives, and this process goes on and on forever. The thought is that through this you technically never die due to there being an infinite amount of possible outcomes that can happen. So you jump from reality to reality when you die. The thought experiment is also known as quantum suicide. When thinking about quantum immortality, I always think of the stories that people tell. For example, they get into a car crash and die, but then they awake at the turning that they made into oncoming traffic where they died. These people decide to wait, and then a huge truck or car will come flying past. It's like they glimpsed the future. Or is it that they originally died in their timeline and their consciousness cannot cease to exist, so it jumped to another reality? This thought experiment is in particularly crazy because it makes us question whether situations that we have been in before where we felt like we should have died or could have died actually happened and we transferred into a new reality. This gets much deeper when you begin to get to the later stages of your life, going through many different health conditions and passing on until you come to reality where life extension technology exists. But then this opens up more and more possible timelines, and perhaps this will go on forever. The thought that this could be true frightens me to my core. Number 3. False vacuums. The false vacuum hypothesis tells us that our universe is a stable vacuum, but not as stable as it possibly could be. The consequences of this being a possibility is horrifying for us. Firstly, we must explain the definition of a vacuum. A vacuum is space with as little energy in it as possible. Vacuums still have quantum fields within them. A true vacuum is at its most stable point because it has what is called a global minimum of energy. It is assumed to coincide with a physical vacuum, which is one that we live in. Now we know what vacuum state we live in and what a true vacuum state could be. Let's find out what a false vacuum is. A false vacuum is a physical vacuum with quantum fields which present us local minimum energy, not global minimum energy. This combination would create what is known as the false vacuum state. This tells us that at any point, whether it be tomorrow or billions of years from now, our universe could change from this false vacuum state to the true vacuum. Even if this change happened in a small part of the universe, it would create a bubble of this new state that would spread across the universe, changing everything from the false state that we live in now to the true stable state. This would cause everything we know to spontaneously change, which would rip our universe apart, bending the laws of physics and the forces of nature, creating an unrecognizable universe. For the universe, this would be like wiping the slate and starting anew, but for everything we have ever known on Earth and all of the planets, stars and galaxies would be destroyed by this change in state. This is a very terrifying thought, that one day this could happen and there is nothing we could do to stop it from happening. Our universe as we know it would be gone. But a bright thought is that a new universe would exist in its place, but it is impossible to know what the new properties of this universe would be. That is all up to our own speculation. What do you think? Do you think we are currently living in a false vacuum state? Number 4. Is the universe a hologram? Perhaps reality is an illusion. When we look at the universe, it doesn't seem to have much reason for existing other than perhaps to allow consciousness to exist, which would just mean that the universe is perceiving itself into existence through us and many other possible beings with consciousness throughout the universe that can perceive reality. The universe does seem perfectly made for this exact reason. Think of the holographic universe like this. When you are watching a 3D movie, you are watching a screen that is two-dimensional, but through wearing 3D glasses we can perceive the image as 3 dimensions. The theory of the holographic universe works in a very similar way. It proposes that the universe is a two-dimensional one, and that how we perceive the universe in 3 dimensions is actually an illusion. There has been some research found with irregularities within the cosmic background radiation that could indicate a holographic universe. The evidence is actually quite strong, and the theory has just as many grounds as any of the others to do with the irregularities with this cosmic background radiation. Some scientists do believe that a holographic universe could link together Einstein's theory of general relativity and quantum mechanics. These are both two different ways of explaining different aspects of our universe on different scales. Both of these theories work, but they do not work together. What do you think? Do you think it is possible that the universe is a hologram? Number 5. Panspermia. Panspermia is a hypothesis which states that life is carried and distributed around the universe by space dust, meteoroids, asteroids and comets. This proposed hypothesis is very interesting when discussing life in the universe. It is very interesting that microbes could be transferred from different planets by all of these different types of interstellar objects. This gives us a possible way that life could have arisen on planet Earth. Panspermia suggests that microscopic life that can survive the harsh nature of space, such as extremophiles, can become trapped within debris that has been ejected into space after collisions with planets and small solar system bodies that harbor life. These microbes may travel for a long time before reaching a planet which they collide with. If the planet which it collided with happened to be a planet which has surface water, such as planet Earth, and if it sits within a habitable zone of the solar system's star, then it becomes a very real possibility that complex life may develop on this planet. Perhaps, like I said before, a similar process happened with planet Earth. Perhaps this can help give us some indication and more possible evidence for outcomes of the Fermi paradox. If life needs all of these specific requirements which planet Earth happens to have, perhaps when it comes to life in the universe, it's like a roll of the dice whether life will span into complex life due to the vast number of planets in the universe. We would have to discover the probability of an interstellar object carrying microbes in the first place, let alone making it to a planet with all of the requirements for the life to become complex. This may explain to us that life is either somewhat rare in the universe and what happened here on Earth is an abnormality, or that life is very common due to the amount of planets that have surface water and are within habitable zones are a very high number. Either way, panspermia is a fun concept to ponder on when thinking about life in the universe. Well, that is 5 bizarre theories of the universe. I hope you enjoyed this video. I tried to add in a different variety of theories so that we could cover a wide spectrum of ideas. If you would like me to produce more top 5 videos, please smash that like button and subscribe to stay up to date with all content that I'm doing. Please enjoy your day. Goodbye and peace out.